Have you ever wondered what would happen if gravity suddenly disappeared from our world? Imagine waking up one day to find everything around you floating aimlessly in the air. It's a mind-boggling scenario that would completely transform life as we know it. Without gravity, our planet would be in chaos. The air we breathe would no longer be held close to the Earth's surface. Instead, it would disperse into space, leaving us gasping for oxygen. The atmosphere that protects us from harmful solar radiation would vanish, exposing us to the harsh conditions of outer space. But that's just the beginning. Our oceans, lakes, and rivers would lose their familiar form. Water droplets would float freely, forming giant spheres in the air. Rainfall would cease to exist as we know it, with water particles drifting aimlessly instead of falling to the ground. Plants and trees would struggle to grow without the downward pull of gravity. Their roots would have no sense of direction, making it impossible for them to anchor themselves or absorb nutrients from the soil. The entire ecosystem would be thrown into disarray. Human life would face unprecedented challenges. Our bodies, evolved to function under the constant influence of gravity, would experience rapid and dramatic changes. Without the need to constantly work against gravity, our muscles and bones would weaken quickly, blood flow would be disrupted, causing dizziness and potential health issues. Simple tasks like walking or sitting would become nearly impossible. We'd float uncontrollably, bumping into objects and each other. Eating and drinking would be a messy affair, with food and liquids floating away from our mouths. Even sleeping would be a challenge, as we drift aimlessly instead of lying still on a bed. Transportation as we know it would cease to function. Cars, trains, and planes rely on friction and aerodynamics, both of which are heavily influenced by gravity. We'd need entirely new methods of getting around, perhaps using personal propulsion devices or tethered movement systems. Our built environment would crumble. Buildings and structures designed to withstand the downward pull of gravity would lose their stability. Skyscrapers would topple, bridges would collapse, and entire cities would disintegrate as their foundations gave way. The loss of gravity would have far-reaching effects on our planet's core. And tectonic plates? The Earth's molten core, no longer held in place by gravitational forces, could potentially disperse, altering our planet's magnetic field and leaving us vulnerable to solar radiation. Weather patterns would become unrecognizable. Wind, which is partly driven by the Earth's rotation and gravity, would behave erratically. Storms and weather systems would form and dissipate unpredictably, making forecasting impossible. Even our perception of time might change. The Earth's rotation, influenced by gravity, gives us our day-night cycle. Without it, we'd lose our natural rhythms, and our concept of days and seasons would be forever altered. Space exploration, ironically, might become easier in some ways. Launching satellites and spacecraft would require far less energy without having to overcome Earth's gravitational pull. However, the lack of gravity would also make it challenging to control and navigate these vessels. The night sky would look different too. The moon, no longer held in orbit by Earth's gravity, would drift away. Other celestial bodies might appear to move erratically as their orbits are disrupted. Communication systems relying on satellites would fail, plunging us into a new dark age of information. The internet, GPS, and global telecommunications would all be severely impacted. In this gravity-free world, humanity would face its greatest challenge yet. We'd need to rapidly adapt our technology, biology, and way of life to survive in this new floating reality. It would be a test of our ingenuity, resilience, and ability to cooperate on a global scale. While this scenario is purely hypothetical, it serves as a stark reminder of how crucial gravity is to our existence. It's a force we often take for granted, yet it shapes every aspect of our lives and our planet. The next time you feel the solid ground beneath your feet, take a moment to appreciate the invisible force that keeps us grounded in more ways than one.